Ryan is racing me to the podium.
Morning, everyone. My name is Ryan Q. I am a second-year medical student at UTHSC College of Medicine in Memphis, Tennessee. Today, I'll be presenting some of the research done by my colleagues at the Campbell Clinic and Memphis VA Medical Center. Today, we'll be going over the in vivo portion of our study evaluating the targeted stem cell scaffold therapy for post-traumatic osteoarthritis. So before we go into our model and our results, I want to take a step back and review the pathophysiology of osteoarthritis, just so that we can get more of a background. Osteoarthritis is a chronic degenerative joint disease that affects over 500 million people worldwide. It is a progressive disease that is represented by progressive cartilage breakdown, subchondral bone remodeling, and chronic inflammation. The cartilage breakdown in osteoarthritis begins with the loss of proteoglycans and exposes type 2 collagen fibers on the joint surface. And around these areas of damage, there's also an upregulation of a key enzyme called MMP13 or matrix metalloproteinases, which are enzymes that accelerate tissue degradation and inflammation. These two markers, type 2 collagen exposure and MMP activity, are important in how we assess osteoarthritic disease progression in our model. Conventional treatments for osteoarthritis like NSAIDs or corticosteroid injections are mainly palliative in nature, and they have pain management, but they don't really address the root cause of osteoarthritis or reverse the course of the disease. There has been growing interest in using stem cell therapy because of their regenerative potential, but these clinical trials with stem cells have been limited because the stem cells fail to remain within the joint and localize to the damaged cartilage efficiently. This key point, the fact that stem cells are cleared from the joint space and fail to localize to the site of injury, is what we're focusing on in this study. Our study aimed to overcome this challenge through a novel delivery platform, a targeted injectable collagen scaffold that's functionalized with a monoclonal antibody to expose type 2 collagen fibers in osteoarthritis. So we can think of it as if we're delivering a package where our package is the stem cells, our truck that we're loading the stem cells on is our scaffold, and then the driver of that truck that knows exactly where to go is our monoclonal antibody targeting type 2 collagen. For our in vivo model, we used 10-week-old mice through a non-invasive mechanical loading procedure that basically held on to their left hind knee and did 250 compressive cycles at 10 newtons. We did this every other day for a total of 7 sessions, and this method reliably induced cartilage damage that mimics osteoarthritis without any surgical trauma. 3 days after the final loading session, the mice were randomly divided into 5 groups: a sham group that received only PBS injections, a group with the stem cells alone, a group with the stem cells and our collagen scaffold, and then a group with all 3, the stem cells, the collagen scaffold, and a monoclonal antibody. We also had a control group that was non-loaded and did not receive any treatment. To evaluate our treatment outcomes, we performed functional assessments using dynamic weight bearing at 3 and 7 days and also 9 weeks post-injection. Structural changes were analyzed at 12 weeks using IVIS imaging for MMP activity and type 2 collagen exposure at 12 weeks. So for our functional recovery, we used advanced dynamic weight bearing, which is a method that quantifies how much weight a mice is placing on each limb. This approach provides a readout of pain-related behavior and joint dysfunction and osteoarthritis. As expected, our mechanical loading significantly reduced weight bearing on the affected limb, particularly in group 2, which received no treatment. These mice failed to recover over time and confirms persistent joint dysfunction in untreated PTOA. In contrast, all 3 of the stem cell treated groups, whether it was administered alone with the collagen scaffold or with the targeted scaffold, they all showed a progressive increase in their weight-bearing ratios by 9 weeks. Group 5, which received the targeted scaffold treatment, demonstrated the highest level of functional recovery. In addition to the functional recovery, we also wanted to evaluate whether our targeted scaffold actually reduced the structural cartilage damage and joint inflammation at a molecular level. And to do this, we used IVIS imaging. On the figure on the left here, you can see our results. The top row is our marker for MABC2, or our marker that fluorescence in the areas of type 2 collagen exposure. The bottom row is our MMP sense marker, which fluoresces in the activity of high MMP exposure. You can see that on the column with our PBS group that has the highest signal for both markers, confirming continued joint degradation in the absence of treatment. In contrast, the mice treated with our targeted scaffold show significant reduction in both type 2 collagen exposure and MMP activity. What's important on the slide is to contrast the stem cells that were loaded onto the scaffold but didn't have the antibody. Comparing these two, we can see that the non-targeted scaffold showed no significant change compared to the sham group. And this indicates that simply embedding the stem cells in collagen isn't enough. We need to target the antibodies in order to have effective localization of the stem cells and have a therapeutic benefit. So in conclusion, these results confirm that targeted delivery of the stem cells using a targeted functionalized antibody scaffold improves localization of our damaged cartilage and reduces inflammation signaling and protects against further cartilage breakdown. These are my references, and I'm happy to take any questions.
Is there any plan for, I guess, monitoring duration of symptomatic improvement? Are these mice more likely to then have recurrent symptoms after time, or is this like a fix?
This is a fix. Yeah, so with our model, after the results, we see that the sham group that received PBS only, they continue to have degradation up until the point that we put them down, basically. Yeah.
Great talk, and impressive that you've done research as an M2 like this, especially if you've got an AOA grant. So, is there any drug on the market that exists sort of with this? Mouse trials don't always, transition well to human trials, but is there any drug I don't know. Is there any drug on the market that exists like this?
No, so there's actually no disease-modifying osteoarthritis drugs, and this is what my lab is trying to kind of market. The only treatments available right now for osteoarthritis is NSAIDs or corticosteroid injections, or you can go inside the joint and do some surgery, but nothing has really improved the course of osteoarthritis.
And is the plan then to introduce this theoretically as an intra-articular injection?
Yes. Yeah.
I enjoyed your talk. Here's a simple question. A mouse is small.
Yes.
So therefore, the overall cross section is small. The weight bearing is small. So when we're talking about bigger people like us, we have more of a surface area. We have more weight bearing. Are you considering, I know doing mice to begin with is a good thing. I never did mice. I did rats. But then after I did rats, I went to, bigger animals. I'm not going to mention some because it may be politically incorrect to mention the animals, but they were bigger. So is there any consideration to using a larger model to take care of those objections?
Yeah, so we actually plan to move on to use a pig as our model. But unfortunately, most of the people that worked on this project have already graduated. It's really just me and Dr. Cho left. And so, for example, Nathan Betta is a fourth-year medical student. He graduated. Evan Porter was our chief surgical resident at our Campbell Clinic, and he graduated residency. Dr. Karen Hasty retired. So we did have plans to move on to using a pig model, but everything's on hold right now as we're trying to get more people involved. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Please support our mission to improve quality of patient care through education. Join us, follow us, and share this content with family and friends.